G'day, today we're playing 7 Billion Humans, and I've just jumped back into level 55 here with the answers. So thank you to those who did write an explanation on what I was doing wrong with for each direction or how it works. So basically here is the way that it operates. Now what will happen is that I've said how many directions I want. It's going to set as memory 1. So if I have it say that memory 2 is 0, and then I calculate memory 1 plus memory 2, this will cycle through 8 times, which you can see here. You can just watch that they sit there and just sort of bounce back and forth through it. They go around and they add up all the different numbers one at a time. They end up with their number, and that's it. So that definitely makes much more sense to me now. Thank you to those that wrote it. So now let's see if we can take that and put it into practice with level 56. Okay. Okay, so each one of them has to pick and shred the largest data cube in their group. So what we will do is we will reset this. Okay, so firstly we will get everyone to just step left twice. I mean, we could sort of say until you're in the middle of that, but I feel like it's almost as many steps to just say step twice left. Step left twice, rather. Okay, the other thing that we need to do is nearest shredder. We'll make memory 4. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll do for each direction as memory 1. We'll also set memory 2 as 0. Now, it will be a calculation of... No, it will be... If memory 1 is greater than... Then this is the bigger number. Memory 1 is greater than memory 2, then set memory 2 to memory 1. And then it's almost else nothing. Then... Okay, so then at that point we should know which... which block you like, so we should know then what number is the number we want to shred. No, so what we would do is we would go it would be set to, what I would want to do is then set direction as memory 3 of wherever that was. I mean, that's not my item. So there's no way that I can sort of say that that's the... So, I mean, at that point, I can have them identify which square around them is the biggest number, but then how do I... Would I use a second for each? So I would say for each is memory 1, and it would be if would it count as my item if my item equals memory, what is it? Memory 1 equals the data cube, pick up I don't think that's right. That's going to say if memory... If... No, that's wrong. I don't know. Alright, let's just play this part out. Make sure I've got this right. So they walk in. Now, if I... Might have to set this through. So if we have a look at, say, what this lady's doing. So she's got 65 as memory 2. That becomes 72, becomes 82, it becomes 95. So, how do we then just get her to pick up 95? Pick up memory 2. Now, will that work? We actually acknowledge that something is memory 2. Great. All right. So that's all I've got to do. And then we just say give to memory 4. All right. Let's try that. All right. There we go. We're getting there. One command too many. I mean, I wonder if I could just get rid of that. If I get rid of that command, does that do it? There we go. Okay. 57. Record how many neighbors it has in the adjacent. Each cube below, record how many neighbors it has in the adjacent 8 tiles. And write that number on the cube. Okay, how many neighbors does each data cube have? Make each data cube display the total number of queues. Tip for management, be careful. Your if command sees data cubes only if they are on the floor. If you try to query a tile that contains a worker who's holding a data cube in the air, your if command will not report. Obviously, through testing, they must have had a severe issue with that. That's funny that this one's already logged as 88. It's a funny little... I wonder if that's just done to stop you being able to do something with the zeros. Okay, so let's try. If this direction equals a wall, then else listen. And we will say listen is high. Okay. So if it's a wall, we want to go embed another if. So it was if direction that equals a data cube, then else step left. Okay. So then we want to do for each direction as memory 1. We want to set memory 2 as 0 here. Okay, and then we go calculate. Memory 2 will be memory 2 plus 1. And then we can say, well, we can cut out a step by then just saying jump to here, and then saying that jumps to here. Okay, so let's just see if that works to begin with. So let's say this guy here, we're going to look at him. I don't know why you're going through that calculation if that equals a data cube. We're doing something wrong there. Work that through again. So let's click on this guy. Okay. If that equals a wall, then step. No, we want to jump to there. That's our problem. That equals a wall. Else step. Okay, so now we're not doing our math every time. Okay, so say for example, we'll look at this guy here. So he's going to have he's already into his, so he should end up with having 2 as his memory 2. Hit 0. That needs to be here. That's the problem, I think. And then we also need to go pick up that, right, memory 2, drop. Alright, let's try this again. on, say this guy, because he's actually going to get to something faster than that guy will. Okay, he gets there. Checks. Nothing. Nothing. I've also written this wrong. So... but he's still going to count the amount of squares that he's got. So it's... for each direction is memory 1. If... alright, stop that. So it would then be... if memory 1 equals data cube, then calculate memory 2 plus 1. And then I think the else would just cycle through. So let's try that again. Okay, so he's added 1. He's added 2. Then he picks it up. And he writes it. Great. Okay. And then we can see this guy here, he should write 3. Great. And this guy here will write 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So, the only issue that I have now is that I was just going to wait for these guys to finish, and then once they're done, they could yell... okay, actually, I've got an idea. So the biggest problem that I think that we now have is you can see someone like this guy here is going to have an issue where if I said that once you reach... if this equals a wall, then yell high... this guy down here is going to hit that wall way before this guy is, because he's got so many more to do. So I think the answer to get around that is that we then put in another if. So if this equals a wall, then so we would go stop and we would put an if here, and we would say if that equals a wall, then, and then we would say else in here. And it would be, if that equals a wall, tell everyone hi. And that means that these guys listen for hi. Then we tell them, if that equals a wall, else step that way. And if that equals a wall, jump to here. So they don't have to do that part, so that's fine. They can be down there. Jump to there, else that. And then we can put a jump here, and we jump them to there. Alright, let's see if this works. So these guys here are just listening. These guys here will just sort of move through their process a little bit quicker. So what this means is that, say, this girl here who could cause issues to him trying to do his math, and still could, hopefully she'll go all the way back here and then slowly work her way along so that she might be a little bit behind him. Now, because he's got... because they're so close to each other, they could cause each other problems here, but they might just be okay. I mean, this will have a one where surely I've got some failures, but not 50%. I would expect at least one in there. Good to see. Okay. It's 58. As long as no data cubes have more than 3 neighbors. Okay. So this would be a, I guess, step any direction. If, this direction equals a data cube. Each direction is memory 1. Now, what did I just write to figure this out? It was set memory 2 to equal 0. Honestly, can't even remember how I just wrote this. Let me just jump back to the last one. I'll just read it again. Okay. If memory 1 equals a data cube. Okay. Alright, I'm with it again. Okay, if memory 1 equals a data cube, memory 1 equals data cube, set memory 2 as, no, sorry, that is calculate memory 2 as memory 2 plus 1. If memory 2 is greater than 3, step. I think that I've got to pick up here. The problem is that that means that these guys will be imperfect because they'll be looking for another location. Like, say, if these guys all come in and then pick one up, they'll then look to see, is this one the same? What do I mean? Like if these two guys are standing next to each other looking at these two, then they'll be, if they're both sitting there holding it, then they'll be miscounting anyway. But I think that this one's going to take a long time for them to figure out. So we'll just go with that, see if we can get it under the time limit. Okay, if thing is greater than thing step, else drop. Okay, so from that drop we would then say jump to here. And if it's this thing else, actually that jump can just be here, and I think. Okay, if that equals a thing, then step, and then from here we want to jump to here. I think. Let's see how this goes. Not holding anything to drop. Why are you not picking them up? That equals a data cube. Pick up. Work this out. Let's just go one step at a time. Okay, this lady here, she's found one. So she's hit that. If that's a data cube, pick up. Right, she's got it. Right, so there's no else on this one. So I want to go drop, else, drop, and then jump to here. It's still not moving anything. So it would then be, if memory 2 is greater than 3, step, and then maybe if does not equal empty, step, else drop. And then we want to jump that to there. Actually, we can even just do that. Else drop, then jump. Okay. That any better? Are they still going to move anything? No, still stuck here somewhere in my working out. Okay. Who's going to hit a cube? Okay, her. Now that's actually a pretty bad one because she's going to pick that up. Now she's already jumped out of this. Right, all of this is inside that bridge direction, which we don't want it to be. Let's try that again. Right, so now she's got her math going. So she's still just putting them back where they started, and it's something to do with this drop here, I think. If memory 1 equals a data cube, else drop. No, we don't want that. And she's already walking around with this one, which she shouldn't be, because it should have only had 3. Memory 2 is greater than 3. We just make that greater than or equal to. No. If it's less than 3. If it's less than 3. Well, now I've got to do this around the other way. Well, let's just go if it's greater than 4. Would that be enough? Because then it would be... See how they go with this. Now they're just wandering. These guys are just wandering around carrying them. Okay, so where are you getting stuck now that you're not putting it down? Okay. Now I feel that for this part they're sort of working this out right, but it's if memory 2 is greater than 4, step, if that equals nothing, jump and step. Okay, so it equals nothing, then we want to drop. That's where we've missed our drop. Else this, and then that's jump, and that takes you all the way back up. Alright, let's try this. So again, people are just walking around carrying them. So where are you stuck? Yeah, there's too many jumps in this that I've lost my train of thought, I think. Okay, let's go from the top. Okay. If the one on the ground equals a data cube, then pick it up. Then set memory 2 to 0. For each direction is memory 1. If memory 1 equals a data cube, set memory 2 to memory 2 plus 1, else jump to the top. Once you're done with that, if memory 2 is greater than 4, equal to or greater than 4, step. So you're just going to keep stepping. So then you need to go... No, that's right. Step, and then if the floor equals nothing, drop it. Else. Go to that. Else. And then you would just jump... No, if the floor equals nothing, drop it. Else jump to there. And then if the floor equals nothing, drop it. And then go to here. So this jump here, I think, is irrelevant now because we've got the 2 different jump locations that you go. If memory 2 is greater than 4, then else drop it, and then jump to the top. Alright, let's try that. Basically, we just want to see these people put it down, and they're still not doing it. Okay, so why are you still just walking around with it? You've reached back into this point here, and you shouldn't have. How have you reached back here and you're still holding on to your thing? That's the question. This jump here, I think. Let's work this out. Okay, for each direction is memory 1. If memory 1 equals a data cube, set memory 2 to anything else jump all the way out. Now that's wrong. This is jumping way too high. So this should just be... This shouldn't be there at all, because it's just that you don't have to do anything. You just let the for each direction work itself out, I think. Try this again. No, they're still just wandering around carrying them. Okay. So if memory 2, so you're down here now just stepping around. So you've reached this part. If memory 4, if memory 2 is greater than 4, which it was, step. Then you should jump through here and you go back to the top. So you actually do need a... No, it should be step, and then you go if. If the floor equals nothing, then drop it. So why are you not... If the floor equals nothing, drop. There's nothing on the floor, but she's gone back to step, so she's jumped from this instruction. If the floor does not equal nothing. There we go. That's my mistake. Let's try that. There we go. They're finally putting them around places. So, I mean, this is a tricky one because they'll continually go around and moving different ones that may not apply. And it's just you get lucky enough that eventually they've hit them all. Like, so say at the moment I can't tell you which one's wrong. But every time they adjust one, they're going to cause a mess elsewhere. The good news is that they've got enough space that eventually they'll spread them out so far that we might just accidentally get this right. Because I assume all I'm waiting for here is for it to tell me that I've got it. And I mean, it's looking pretty good. It's probably like this 5 in here. That's the problem. And he's just slowly having to get shuffled out. I mean, what I should do is it should be, to speed this up, it would then be, you put in another for each direction down here when you're stepping. I mean, that's going to take too long, so let's stop that. So, we've sort of now got it a bit more correct. So, let's now look at this part here. So, if memory 2 is greater than 4, then step. For each direction. There's a memory... We can go back to that being memory 1. If memory 1 equals a data cube, we'll set memory 3 as 0. If memory 1 equals a data cube, set memory 3... No. Calculate. Memory 3. Memory 3 plus 1. I think that can still be memory 2. And then we can just say jump outside the for each direction. See if that's a cleaner way of doing it. That they then audit their placement every time they move it. So that, as opposed to just sort of picking it up and putting it in a place that's as bad. Could be good. I mean, the other way that we could do this is change that to being memory 3. and then what we do is that memory 3 has to pass memory 3, it has to be less than 2 things next to it, so that they're even more stringent about stretching it out. I mean, we could even set that memory 3 has to be less than 3. Let's do that, actually. Let's actually be really picky. Let's say 2. Let's see how they go with that. There's just a little bit more room for error, that they won't place it in a place where there's something already in the vicinity, and it going down might cause a greater problem. It does mean that some of these guys are just stuck in the middle. But you can already see that this is a much better spread out of... I don't quite get what some of these guys are doing. Like, say, there's a guy walking around with an 8 that just keeps commenting. So, I mean, I've got this set memory 2 as 0. Why are you not putting this down? Okay, so he goes through and he does his check again. If memory 2 is less than 0, do this else drop. So, why are you not just dropping it at that point? Why are you cycling back through this? Have I done the wrong one? Memory 2 is greater than or equal to 2, and do this, else drop. So that should be less than? Less than or equal to 2? I now just mix myself up for... because now they're just keeping them together, so that's... I think that's wrong. Okay. Let's swap this to memory 3. I think that possibly I'm just getting myself confused with the memory 2, using it in 2 different parts. Okay, so this is now memory 3. No, I've definitely reached the point where I've made this more confusing than it needs to be, I think. I was so close before, and now I've just decimated it. Okay. The only thing I don't understand with that previous setup is, in this one, that was memory 2. And these were memory 2. Why are those guys just walking around carrying it? That equals a data cube. Pick it up, do this. Set memory 2. So we can see that this is working in part. Like, there are already squares that are getting shifted around. This guy here, why is he taking so many steps around? You can see he's just continuing to walk around without actually putting anything down. So he's taking way more steps. He's reaching a pattern where he's hitting steps more than he should. Step. If it equals a data cube, do this else. Okay, so he's in this cycle. He's currently stepping. And if the floor's not a data cube, he's jumping. So there's a jump that's sending him up the top that shouldn't be. Stop kicking me back up. Alright, let's do this. Okay, so there's 2 jumps, sorry, that take you to the top. There's this one, which is down here, which is fine, because at that point, it's just so what's this one? If the ground equals nothing, then drop and jump back to the top. Else jump to here. So that one's saying that if you drop it, if the ground equals nothing and you drop it, then this is hang on. This is the part that's making you step. If you step and it's fine, if the ground equals nothing, drop it. So this is the else. No, you do this, and then you're told to jump no matter what. So how do you reach this if? Can't. This should be here. Memory 2 is greater than... Hang on, this jump here is wrong, I think. I think this is where I've got stuck. I think. Okay, so you step, you set that to 0, you go through this, you then jump every single time, so you actually never do anything with this information. So I think that if I get rid of that jump, you do this, if the ground equals nothing, drop, and jump, else jump to there. I don't know, I'll see if that works. I'm not sure if that's any better. At least I don't have people complaining or wandering around carrying squares anymore, so this might be more right. I mean, because they're only attempting to do less than 2, it's almost like they've got not enough room to do this. I feel like it gives me a much better chance of them actually trying to really spread these out. So say, for example, this 8 here is probably one of the bad ones. I feel like they're looking pretty good there. Is it just at this point because they're all, like, it's not just everything on the ground, like they keep picking them up? Okay, so if, let's try this the other way. If this equals a data cube, pick up there? Let's try that. Might mean that there's more time with everything on the ground, and that might actually trigger the... But I just wonder if someone's holding something, then... that I can't win, but if it reaches a point where everything's on the ground, then it'll be okay. And it means that they'll more correctly count numbers because there's not numbers being held by people. See that some people are saying I've got nothing to drop, so obviously I've got a second drop in there that's incorrect at the moment, but I don't think it's gonna kill it, so I'll just let it play out. I think at this point the less than 2 is a problem, because that means that people are more picky about picking things up. So let's change that to 3. Try again. Because if basically what we need is we just need a point where everyone's got everything on the ground. If they reach more of a point where they go like, alright, well that's fine, then we might actually like sneak in with ding. Otherwise it's possible that they're just, someone's always holding something and so it's not finishing. I think, I hope. I mean, again, still a lot of people picking up squares and correcting, like, making adjustments. Surely eventually there's going to be no more adjustments to make. Here we go. few more. A few more in both target time, and I think obviously there's a much more efficient way of doing that than what I've done there. But there we go. Alright, we'll call it there. Thanks for watching. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. But till next time, catch you later. See ya.